Welcome, everybody. Happy Saturday Eve. 2 days before Juve's season officially starts. Today, Serie A officially started. So a couple of things to go on. Obviously, if you see the thumbnail, we'll talk about some updates that happened with Atalanta, with them procuring some players and potentially signing Lazzari. So, I mean, at this point, they can stop being petty and just turn over Koop, or just fuck them. And then we'll also talk about Yildiz getting the number 10. A lot of old men were busting their loads out this morning. Some folks were pissed. Some folks were stroking, and we're stroking quite hard. Remember, folks, he's only 19. Relax. And
barely legal.
And kind of do a little bit of a brief recap of the earlier games today. Both Milan teams dropped deuces, 2-2s for both Inter and AC Milan. So I think we'll touch into those. German Dave will hop in at some point when he finishes his meeting, because he's a dastardly business fellow. And we might have some other listeners hop in as well. Sal, I know Sal's going to come in. Toto's going to come in and cook.
He's charged. I think he's charged up tonight.
I think he is, as he likes to say, the last call-in before the shit show starts. But kind of going in briefly, more so about the games, because I watched the games this morning. I also watched the Arsenal game because now I have stock invested in Arsenal. And if you want to know why I have stock in Arsenal, watch our predictions video where we do all 5 of the top leagues. And son of a bitch, Marseille 1-4-1 with Mason Greenwood
against Brest.
All those whiners about Greenwood. Dude had a deuce, had a brace in 30. But alas of my pettiness, going into the Milan game and let me start with Inter and Genoa. So I watched both of those. The biggest takeaway I have from that is it looks like Inter have won their favorability from Serie A, or have lost. Have lost their favorability from.
They don't have the sponsor. They don't have. Well, there's this whole thing with the VAR. You know how they're gonna. Do better this year, I suppose.
I guess they did, because Marcus Thuram has a penalty called where I was just looking at it. I'm like, is it though? Is it really a pen? And in my opinion, it wasn't. So it got called back. So then, game resumes. Obviously, they score regardless. They go up 1, and then Genoa ties it, and then Inter goes up again with Marcus Thuram. And then poetic justice. So an Inter player decides to with his header, and catches his hand before he catches his head, and ironically was called a penalty. It was called a handball. Genoa gets the handball. Junior Macias absolutely botches the pen, but is able to get the rebound and scores it. 2-2. Genoa Inter finishes that game off there. The next one, I said Atalanta. God, I have that team in my mouth way too much right now. We have AC Milan and Torino. They kick off. Torino, 2 attacks, 2 goals for that game. 1 attack in the first half that ended up as an own goal by Ta. And then essentially what would happen after is that opening 10 minutes of the second half, Duvan Zapata still got it. He still got it. Goes in there and gets a nice goal to go up 2-0. And just when everyone was about to laugh at Fonseca and say how much Milan was an absolute joke, the one, the only, Goat Varato comes in and essentially gets a cheeky. Well, he technically wins a penalty. In my opinion, I thought that was a pen, because to get the ball, he had to go through Morata's leg. So, I don't understand the VAR justification there. Maybe there's something different in the rules that I didn't catch, but he went through Morata's leg first while he was wrapping around for the ball. Again, whatever. It is what it is. Morata gets a cheeky little sneak against the post for his first goal of the Serie A season.
I like how you just forgot that he first had to get an offside goal first.
It wasn't offside.
Just to make sure. The first time.
It was a pen.
No, he had the pen, he had the offside goal, and then he had the real goal.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean,
he had to make sure he did the offside thing first, just to establish himself.
It was the trifecta. It was the Morata trifecta. But he gets the sneaky little goal there, and then he plays the dummy for Reinders. Essentially pulls the defender near post, leaves Reinders wide open in the middle, and Reinders able to hit a filthy volley in to tie it. I'm looking at you, Dusan. Mr. Morata, who should have been your replacement, absolutely make a hell of a debut. So looking at you against Como. I mean, you should. It's Como, right? right? But Milan claws back into it. I thought they had good opportunities to actually take it per se. But it is, and Boyan says, frick, I captained the Inter Pineapple and not Morata. If German Dave was here, he would say, ooh, tisk, tisk, tisk. Never, never doubt Alvaro Morata. He is the GOAT of Serie A for a reason. But that kind of summarizes there. There was Fiorentina-Parma that played. I believe Parma got the win against Fiorentina there. I don't remember it exactly. To be honest with you, I didn't bother watching Empoli versus Monza. I was just more focused on Milan. But those are the matches today. I know Napoli and the other gang are playing tomorrow. And then we open up with Como, and we'll kind of briefly touch on Como as well. But more so there. Moving on to, go ahead.
You said you watched the Arsenal game today, right?
I did watch the Arsenal game.
Did he catch this?
Oh, I caught that. I was laughing my ass off.
Just watch that. Just a handful of ass. Like, what's going on?
And that's the team that I've backed to win the Premier League. The ones that get fingered in the ass. Let's go.
Oh man, that shit's funny.
But alas, God, I'm cringing every time I say that team's name. I can't believe I picked them, but I just wanted to be different. Anyways, though, going into Como, right, we've got a couple of things. We're looking at it from a squad perspective. We have some question marks. We'll cover it when we start going more in depth into the transfer aspect of the show when we open up the call-in lines. Obviously, again, if you want to watch an interesting game, you can watch Manchester City and Chelsea. We'll also recap that as well when we do our recap video for the weekend. That's going to be a juicy match to watch tomorrow, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. But going into the Juve Como shenanigans, Como te llama, there hasn't been any projected lineups, anything that's been dropped right now. I am a little bit nervous of this game just because from what I've seen of, I don't want to say the smaller teams, but the provincial sides of Italy, especially this opening weekend, how they've done a decent job in making everybody sweat. Oh, Parma did not win. They tied. And then Empoli, Monza 0-0. So people are nervous. Part of me thinks that we're going to draw that game. I have a lot of question marks that I have not been answered yet. And there's no Koop that's going to be playing. I don't believe that Kostic is going to be playing, even though I saw a comment about Kostic coming back into the roster. But obviously there's, and then I don't know, Dave, before we get into Yildiz number 10, is there anything you want to touch on for this, or do we just want to move on to the number 10? Because I don't want to take up too much time.
Just take a breath, man. Like, you didn't even say hello. You didn't even say hello.
I thought I did.
No, you just started hammering her. It's like German Dave's not here. I got the floor. I can speak freely.
It is a mine. It is a mine. Everything is a mine.
All right. No, now that you got a little bit out of you, let's reel it back in. Man, we gotta tell people to like and subscribe. Otherwise, what's the point? What are we doing it for, guys? Please like and subscribe while we take this quick little intermission before Dash spools up the next section here. But also, what are you dancing?
I'm just doing my thing. Go on.
He's
all right.
He's spooling. He's spooling.
Boys being boys.
All right. Get in the Discord as well. We have the Prediction League. I mean, things have started. You can kind of jump in whenever you want. Links are in the description for that with the code as well in the Discord. Discord has everything. Hop in there. We hit over 100 people now this past week, and we're closing into 2,000 subscribers. So let's push it over the line. Let's start off the season right. And speaking of starting the season right, number 10. Let's do it. Let's talk about it. Number 10.
No, I'm gonna let you do this one. You're passionate about this one. I'm an ass. You're passionate. That's the difference.
No, I think we both have some reservations about this one. And we can say this too when people come in, Sal, whoever. I mean, bring it back up. Absolutely. But I need some airtime. Whereas German Dave, he has a meeting for his meeting.
I hate when those fucking suck.
Like what's the
I want to just slap whoever plans those in the face. Oh, that happens to me, and I just look at that person the entire time and just hit the.
Okay. So I think everyone knows by now, and if you don't, I mean it's out there. It's official as of this morning. Kenan Yildiz does get the number 10. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if this is the right decision. So here it is, official announcement from the club. There's things that bother me about this, and then it's just not the 10 in itself. It's kind of how they're going about everything, right? So okay, let's talk about the contract first. That's not a big deal. I think that's okay. It's 1.6 plus bonuses, should drop into about 2 million total. I think that's reasonable for a 19-year-old. I know they started at 1. It's at 1.6. I kind of expected it to do that a little bit, right? So that's not bad. You're talking about and of course soccer is trash. We got yes in the chat just to say love you, bye. So thank you. I love you, bye. Mid-range,
At least leave a like, yeah, cunt.
yeah, leave a yike, a yike, a like. Leave some yikes for Yildiz. Gaetano, giving it to Yildiz was too hasty, but you have to give it to the one who makes you dream, and he can do it. That's a point. Absolutely, he's got the aura, or is the word we use?
I don't finish your thing, Dave. Just
okay.
I know you want to go in. Just finish it.
All
don't
right.
get distracted. Read the comments after.
Okay, so he gets the contract. Cool. I'm happy with it. He deserved a raise. Absolutely. Keeping it under 2 mil. Perfect. Give the number 10. Okay, Del Piero's his hero. He's got that passion. Maybe, but then how they did this like 3-part moon landing reveal over the past month, they had it all this was predetermined, guys. Don't be fooled. They shot that moon landing thing in one day. They didn't come back to film that. They knew that he was getting the number 10. This was predetermined. So the fact now that we have grown men blowing their load over this right now, is like, come on, guys. Let's just chill out. This is all marketing. This is a huge marketing stunt right now. And it's just more proof, along with Tia and Celine, and we'll get into Rey Mysterio apparently now too. Prime Energy with Logan Paul. Like all these guys, this is clearly just Gen Z, just hammer Gen Z. That's all we're doing. Throw all your money into Gen Z. We don't have Ronaldo, but we got Logan Paul and a moon landing Kenan Yildiz with a number 10. Fuck it. Here we go. This is our new Juventus. Dash. What's your take on this? Because I know I mean, it's corny.
I think it's corny. I do. Like, again, I'm from a different gen, so it's like for me, all this younger shit is corny. Like, I mean, I'm gonna keep it blunt with like the old dogs, or the unks, as the Gen Zers would call them.
The unks were the unks.
The unks. When you hit unk status, guys, like if you're coming to Juve and thinking about tradition and stuff like that, that's gone. Like it doesn't exist anymore.
Clearly, she's done.
Do I care? No. I just want to win. I mean, to be honest with you, I just want to win. But there are some folks that write 5 to 6 paragraph essays that get mad at us for not defending and being traditionalists. But anyways, like there's some folks there that are traditionalists and they're not going to like this move. And then again, there are some that toe the company line and are fine with it, even though like for example, when I look at it and I look at the significance of the number, like back then the numbers were significant, right? They meant something. They meant the position. They meant like the ace is the 10. Nowadays, I don't think the numbers carry that much weight anymore. So I don't think, like, for example, I don't, to be honest with me, the number 10 kind of died after Pogba's first run with it, because Pogba was only here and wore it for like a season or 2, season tops left. And then it went to nobody. And then Dybala picked it up, and then Dybala wore it for 3 to 4 years. And then he dropped it. Then Pogba picked it up, and then Pogba dropped it. Then Yildiz picked it up.
Del Piero was really he was the biggest. Had it for a couple hundred games, but like
he's held it for a long time. Him and like, for example, but again, like back then, the aces wore the 10. Like it's how it was in the 90s, the 80s. So like the people that are being, uptight about it, which I totally understand, because like you look at it now and it's just like there's not many people that wear the 10 that are genuinely the 10. Like it's not. I think it's kind of devalued over the years, and I don't Like, for example, I don't
It's devalued
see
like the gold standard,
maybe we could say
kind
it's
of
the
like that. Like the gold standard used to be a thing, but then whatever. Now it's just like,
because
who cares?
you gotta remember who's running the club now, right? It's not the same people that knighted people with numbers like they did back then, right? It's not it. Like, for example, when it was the Agnellis, directly the Agnellis, right? Even though Elkin is technically an Agnelli, but not, he's an Agnelli. That's not really an Agnelli, but he's an Agnelli. Like, when you look at it from that, right? That's where they had it. It's like, hey, this is a number of prestige. This is this, yada, yada, yada. Where it's like, now it's just like, I look at it and the way that they kind of manage the numbers and everything in general, it's just kind of like, who cares, whatever, right? Like, Yildiz getting the 10, in my opinion, isn't because he's this stalwart player, because he still has to prove it on the pitch. It's more of a, hey, how do we make a quick buck out of jerseys right now, because we don't have exciting players to purchase this season, right? So, because, like, with all due respect to Douglas Luiz, but who the hell is going out to the store saying, I'm picking up a Douglas Luiz number 26 jersey? Anybody?
I'd imagine that he'll start selling shirts once people start paying attention to him.
He might, but no. But here's the thing, right? Gosh, yeah, Gaetano's right. There were some people that wanted to give Berno the 10. Jesus, that was those folks. Those are the same folks that think Chiesa's the Lord and Savior of this team right now.
He did get the 10 at Toronto.
He did, and he got the 10 at Fiorentina. But like, you look at this, and it just, to me, it screams like last minute jersey sales. It's full marketing. I mean, like, again, do I have an issue with it? No, I don't really care, because I know that they've pivoted from that direction. Like, there is, like, for example, I've always been more of the, I don't really care as long as there's a winning product, right? It is what it is at this point. And I think that's going to be a tough pill for, like, some of the folks that grew up on the history, right? I mean, I did too, but I've always kind of had that business aspect on it. Am I a fan of it? No, I'm not. I'm not too crazy about it, because, like, for example, dude, you put all this marketing, all this investment in Yildiz, it seems like another Chiesa, in my opinion, where you
And
gas.
that's the fear. Yeah.
And I think that's the fear that some folks that look at it rationally have, right? Where it's like, I'm gassing this player up, I'm bringing a bunch of other things. Infinity, chill, man. We'll get to that.
You're so harsh. It's like, just chill.
Just chill. Relax. We'll answer the question. Relax.
Yeah, we'll get to
relax,
it,
man. We'll flow to it. But when you look at it from that perspective, like, it's migrating, it's moving, it's a change of the times. And like, for example, a lot of folks will have a hard time adjusting to it, which is understandably so. But the biggest concern is like, you're putting all your eggs in this basket. And if you're doing this again with Yildiz, which, okay, I'm okay with the contract being 1.6 plus bonuses. I was concerned that it was 3. If you gave him 3 when he hasn't had a full season of first team football, then I'm a little bit anxious about that. But
it's a
whatever. 1.6, fine, right? I can swallow it. But my concern is this, right? Where it seems like Juve, from a business standpoint, let me illustrate this, a business standpoint, are very, very desperate to find a poster child. Because, for example, Bremer is not a poster child. As great as he is, he's not a poster. He's not a marketing face, because he's not an offensive player. He's a defender. And he's not Italian, right? Because if it was an Italian, like, if Bremerino or something like that, like, I don't know, Bremerlini or something, then, like, you could market it, right? But that Juve back line, the only Italian defender is Gatti and Cambiaso, but Gatti is a center back, so you don't really have much marketing. Like, you look at De Gregorio right now, they are marketing the hell out of De Gregorio. But go ahead.
No, Gaetano's question. Just since we kind of touched on the contract, do you think the 10 was a condition for the renewal?
I think so, Gaetano. Let me throw this to you. I think at a discounted salary wage, I think they gave them the 10, because I think, allegedly reports were saying that he wanted 3. His dad wanted 3. So I think Juve said, hey, we'll give you 1.6 plus the 10 and some bonuses, and you'll get some name, image, and likeness, like commercials and other shenanigans and other
Yeah.
shithousery and stuff like that. I
And
think that's what they did.
in a sense, I'm kind of okay with it. And Sal makes a good point as well. He says, I think it was scripted. They started writing that story last year with the ADP comparisons. Maybe,
I
yeah,
think so.
they could have very
Oh,
well been
absolutely.
talking about this last
The
year.
moment he did the tongue celebration, it was a lock.
Yeah.
It was a lock.
But that's the thing, that he is so passionate. That's where I'm kind of okay with this on like the personal level. And like I know we kind of just trash the club and more so the marketing department.
No,
in
it's
a
more
sense.
so the market. We don't like
It's not.
yeah,
It's not Yildiz. Like we're happy for
Yeah.
Yildiz, and I think it's great, and I love the passion. But it's
I
it's
think
just
and I think we need to I think we need to clarify this point because somebody we got a comment where people are this individual's like, yeah, we're bashing the club. Dude, on the actual sporting side, we're not. It's the marketing. It's that side that we're throwing most of our jabs at.
Which is funny because I trash the marketing. Like, how many times have I made fun of I Am Inter?
It's that's where we're voicing our criticism, our opinions, right? Like outside of Chiesa, we just love to cook Chiesa. But when we're looking at it because we're looking at it from an entirety business, like for example, we want to educate you guys. We want to also give you guys an insight to the business aspect of the club instead of just the sporting aspect, right? Because other channels that do the sporting aspect of it too, but I have a business background. German Dave has a business background. Sal has a finance and economics background. Dave also has a marketing background as well.
I own a YouTube channel. I have a business background.
I have a business background. My name is Jeff. Woo! I'm about to make a name for myself here. But we're trying to also understand and get you guys to understand how clubs move in the directions that they move from a influencer direction, things like that. We want to try to give it to you. And like, for example, yes, we're opening criticism to it, but it's not us burying it. It's just kind of like, hey, we know this marketing move. We understand why they're doing it. I just don't like it. I think it's corny.
Yeah.
I think that's the main iteration. And that's where our stance is as a collective trio is, where it's like, we're not going around saying, wow, look at you. What an absolute joke. It's no. Why does the marketing department have to continuously do cringe things in the moment, in the essence of making a quick buck?
And we're definitely like the unks. I like that. We're the unks. We're the old men. And the hilarious thing about this too is they've definitely focused on the Gen Zs, but at the same time, how much of our old timers are glazing this kit?
That to me is kind of ironic, right? Because we should give him some space, let him actually kind of focus in on it. But that's actually are they actually going to put the Sony on there? That's a throwback kit.
You know what? That could be a render. But we know what the third kit is now, and all the old timers are losing their mind over it. Well, I mean, so they've still got us.
It's a nice kit.
They got us. They got everyone. They got the Gen Zs and the boomers. We all got bent over for this year.
So for example, now let's kind of move on to the sporting side. And Dave, if you don't mind, drop the line because we'll probably forget.
It's at that point. So
yeah, when you guys hop in, we're going to talk some sporting side. If you want to talk about the marketing, please just say, hey, I want to revisit that topic. But I kind of want to talk about the sporting side on some aspects because I think despite the situation and how he's managed it, I do think that Giuntoli has bitten off more than he can chew. I think he underestimated how teams would respond and how they would act to certain things, and he also underestimated his ability to move certain pieces and things out. One of the things, and it is Toto and Jeff, but kind of looking at it from this aspect of it, because I kind of want to lay it straight, right, with the whole McKennie thing. McKennie as a versatility depth option, fantastic. I think he's a great versatile option that you want to throw, not as your main guy, but again, your fifth, your sixth, or your fourth option, right? My thing where I'm a little bit kind of about is that the 1 year, like, okay, his agent is like, okay, we can't, we're not finding what we want, and we don't want to be stupid here. Let's talk to Juve. Let's do an additional year at 2.8 or something like that. My concern that I have with Giuntoli is that we've got Rey Mysterio.
Yeah, just some background stuff while you go on.
So with Giuntoli and now reintegrating McKennie into the squad, where I'm like, so you couldn't find a way to move him. You excluded him because of what happened with Villa. And I think it was more so him than Mota kind of putting him out, because I'm pretty sure Mota could use McKennie, because McKennie is, again, similar, and I'm not saying the same skill level as Salamakers, but he could run a similar role to what Salamakers did for them. So you froze him out for a while, and then you realized, oh, shoot, maybe this wasn't a great idea. So now you're kind of, if you were to sign him at 2.5 where he currently is for a bridge contract, I wouldn't have as much of an issue. But now you're giving him 2.8 to potentially 3 million. And again, McKennie, best assists. He's had more assists last season than Locatelli has had in 4 years. In McKennie's just previous season.
Yeah, I was always I wonder, like, it makes me wonder why kind of broke that down, right? Because McKennie is one of our better depth midfielders.
The issue that I have now, because there's another player that's on the fringes, and he's watching this carefully. If McKennie comes back and gets reintegrated into the squad for 3 million, that to me causes Giuntoli to lose some equity with me. And that's where I'm a little bit concerned, because now then you'll have, because we're not able to move some of these pieces, and we have a lot of holes that we got to fill. So we're going to see how Giuntoli bends the knee. And my concern is now that Chiesa and Ramadani are going to sit there and be like, oh, they can't move us, and they didn't want to move McKennie. So I think we have some leverage here. Am I missing the point here, gentlemen? Go ahead. Floor is yours.
I agree. That was, I didn't like the idea of reintegrating him, not because of the quality, but because of the situation. Just it makes us look weak. I think this situation with him being reintegrated, saying, "Oh, we can't really move you, so screw it, we're gonna put you back," and then adding more money prior to that, it just doesn't look good on Giuntoli, and it doesn't look good on the Juve board. It just looks bad.
Yeah. Is it really though? Because from what I
think so,
it was only about 2.6. It was basically what their initial offer was to him that he turned down because he was looking for 4 to 5. So if they're bringing him back at what they originally had, I have no problem with it. And he's not going to be a starter. He's going to be a utility piece. That's good. Hopefully Chiesa sees that and says, oh shit, I should take what they offered me. And then that's fine.
I'm thinking more the opposite, because I think, like, I'm thinking of the other players, and I'm thinking like, well, shit, if I'm Milik or if I'm Chiesa for that matter, it's like, oh my, maybe I might squeeze a little more money out of this because it's the last year of my contract. I can just run it out, and then I can pick any other team I want. And that pretty much could say, I'll just wait it out. Who cares?
I mean, yeah, if they wait it out, then they can,
but yes,
they'll sit. Yeah, if they wait it out, then they'll sit on the stands watching the games like we do.
Yeah, but maybe that could be the plan too.
Yeah, I mean, and then the problem is if you're not getting offers now from anybody, and then you're going to sit on the sidelines and basically not have, you're going to be a year older, because Case is going to be what at that point, 27, on the wrong side. Then yeah. He's taking a big risk. He's taking
a youngster.
Risk.
Well, it is a risk at this point, right? Because these guys that have a year left on their contract, McKennie, Chiesa, what have you, they're the kind of guys that get picked up on the deadline. They're either going to get picked up right away because somebody wants them, or they get picked up on the deadline because they're going to be an emergency piece. Otherwise, everyone's waiting until January.
Yeah. Well, like I said, like, for example, if it looks less terrible if he signs at the initial offer, right? Like, for example, it's with Sal, right? And for me, the concern is if he signs it with a raise.
Mm-hmm.
That's where that's where it's terrible, right? Because it's like, again, like I've kept this position, right? Giuntoli came in with smoke in May. You got to have that same energy. And if you bend the knee and you say, well, fine, we'll just give him 400K or 500K as a raise, that's where it gets to the problem. Because again, if you initially we said, hey, McKennie, you want 2.5 or 2.6? McKennie said, no, I'm going to try free agency. And he says, okay, I'll come back at that 2.5 or 2.6. No problem. He's going to sign I'm signing a bridge deal. I'm going to bet on myself. If I make it If I do well, I'll get another big offer there, or we'll talk and we'll see if we can renew at a higher value. No issue whatsoever. But if he comes back and then Giuntoli signs him at $3 million a season, that's where I'm kind of like, you
Lost
gave
the
him
plot.
you gave him a raise.
Yeah.
Well, you pretty much rewarded him for bad behavior. That's really it, because he already declined via Aston Villa, and then at the second part, already going on podcasts and talking bad about the board, about Juve as it is. It looks bad on us because we're kind of like rewarding the bad behavior. That's really what I see it as. I don't have an issue with McKennie coming back. I don't think he's a bad player. I like McKennie, but at the same time, the way that things went down, that does not sit well with me. That really is it. And then the moment that we bring him back, it's like we are rewarding him for behaving the way that he did. And that means it gives the opportunity for other players to behave that way as well. And that's the problem that I have.
So, go ahead, Sal.
As long as I just hope that the other players look at it and just say, hey, I'm going to take the offer they already gave me. That's what I'm hoping is going to happen. But another good thing that would come out of this is now we can send Moretti on loan to Genoa, where he's going to start every game.
He needs that badly.
He needs to do that.
Yeah. On that, right? That's good.
He needs to do that.
Absolutely.
Hopefully there he can start scoring.
Yeah, and like, for example, the whole Aston Villa situation, I can't. It's difficult for me to generally hold that against McKennie, right? Because, like, for example, they're like, hey, you're going to be part of a swap deal for this, this, and this. Well, okay, but I have a contract here, and I don't want to go to Villa. So, like, for example, you can't technically, even if you tell him he's out of the project, it's kind of hard for you to sit there and just be like, you have to go to Villa, right? Because, like, put it in your perspective, right, at your job, where your boss comes up to you and says, hey, you've been working at this McDonald's for 2 years, but I'm going to send you at the McDonald's down the street. And you're kind of like, wait, what? Why? Like, I understand the sentiment. Like, for example, whatever he said at the podcast, like, for example, he might have just been bashing because how last year his blocker and parking spot and all that shit were cleared out and yada, yada, yada. And he still technically had 2 years left on his contract.
Yeah, that was messed. That wasn't right.
That was kind of a dick move by Juve when they did that. That's one thing where I'm just kind of like, Again, he said some stupid shit. He said stupid shit. So did Chiesa. But the issue is again, with Chiesa, right? If you give McKennie that raise, there is absolutely nothing stopping Chiesa from asking for that raise.
Exactly. That's what I'm worried.
Speaking of Villa, did anybody notice that Balenice and Illing weren't even called up?
Yeah, they weren't even called up.
For everybody who was upset about them leaving for the quality that we got with Luis.
Yeah, so but
just throw that out there.
Apparently, because Hoyson had a decent starting against Nottingham Forest. They're jerking off Hoyson now.
Well, personally, I think I'm fine. I like Luis, man. I think I've seen a couple games of him. I'm like, I saw like the I think it was one with Brest and one with Atletico Madrid. I thought he was good. I liked him.
Yeah.
How about Arsenal not even starting Calafiori? 50
that doesn't surprise me. They can do that. I know they can do that.
I genuinely hope. I hope he made the right decision. I hope Calafiori made the right decision, and I hope he doesn't pay for it. Look, I always say one thing: Italian players do bad in the EPL. It is.
I can't blame him though, because
unless you're Zola.
Unless you're Zola.
Yeah, but
no. Hear me out. Because here's the issue, right? Bologna needed to make money off of that terrible buy, like that sell-on clause, right?
Mm-hmm.
You, like, for example, if Juve is only telling you, hey, I got $3, and Arsenal comes back and says, I got 50, you're taking the 50. You're taking the 50 easily. So it's like, it's not Calafiori's fault because, like, for example, Bologna, here's the thing where Bologna can be a dick about it. Bologna will just be like, okay, fine. You don't want to go to Arsenal and give us 50 million? We'll just sit you for a while. We'll strategically bench you and do this. But Bologna had 100% control over Calafiori. If Calafiori was on the last year of his contract, then Calafiori, like, for example, like Thuram, right? Then you have a little bit more flexibility to do with what you want. But Calafiore was under Bologna control. I mean, yeah, whether or not he makes the field or not, I don't envision him to, because I don't think he's going to usurp Arsenal's starting back line currently.
I mean, on the bright side, it's a possibility we can get him on loan if he's not going to get playing time,
right?
And that would be one possible way. I just think that's the thing, that sometimes it's like I'm like I'm very 50-50 when it comes to like sometimes the player's desire and then what the club wants, because it can go either way. Like like McKennie didn't want to go to Aston Villa, but like also you have to look at the situation. Like no other club wanted you, and then now the Villa move would have been a much better move for McKennie. So that's the thing.
So let me play devil's advocate with you, Jeff. If he re-signs and extends another season with Juve, would the Villa position be a better? Because, like, for example, here he'd be in a much better midfield, has to do less work and gets more shine in a sense here, playing in multiple competitions, and easily, in my opinion, he is easily the first person off the bench, or if Kalulu doesn't come, he's starting at right back. So McKennie,
I get that.
So McKennie, like, for example, that's why, like, for me, it's like I don't blame him, but at the same time, it's just like he's got to slow his roll, but I also understand it at the same aspect too, because, like, for example, Juve, Aston Villa, you've got more eyes on you at Juve than you do at Aston Villa, and I don't expect him to go and take the world by storm at Aston Villa, especially now with how they've kind of restructured their squad and everything. So here. And I think he understands that, which is why he's kind of bent the knee and come back, trying to figure a way to get back in the good graces. Because, like, for example, chance creation, Dougie Luiz has that. Defensive covering and pivoting, Thuram has that. Fingers crossed, offensive bestiality, Koop has that.
Bestiality?
I don't know.
Bestiality?
Something.
Man, you got to be careful how you say that.
Animal.
Necrophilia. No, I'm just kidding. Get in a sweaty goal or make some silky assists that make your stats look better than they actually are, he's fucking taking that. He is. So again, if he's got to stay at if he comes in as right back and Monta says, all right, you're playing as a right back, I just need you to heave the fuck out of the ball into the box. And guess what makes the highlights? Those heaves into the box.
Do you think actually that I'm glad you said that though? Do you think necessarily Mota never had a problem with McKennie to begin with, and he wouldn't have had an issue with him keeping McKennie, or did he wanted him out?
I don't think he. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
No, go ahead, Shell. It's you guys. You guys go first.
Well, I think the only reason why it doesn't surprise me is because the one thing that Mota likes in his players, like the main thing that I can see, is versatility, right? So McKennie can play in 2 or 3 different spots. On the field.
No, I get that. Yeah. That's what doesn't make sense to me. Is like you're forcing, because that's stupid. Now, when I think about it, when you're thinking about it, it's like you force a player that doesn't want to leave Juve to go to Villa. Yeah, that's Giuntoli's fault.
I think the
whole reason was his salary, right?
His salary. Yep.
That's what it was. He was asking for almost double, and he had one good season out of 3.
Yeah, then that's also another thing. It's like, I mean, it's nice to have one good season, but this goes even back with the Kenan Yildiz. Why I disagree with the 10 is just you haven't earned it yet. But that's fine. I also get the other side of the argument. He hasn't earned it, and that's the thing with McKennie. Like, he had one good season, but maybe if he has a stellar season under Malta, maybe there's a good talking point. Maybe you can talk, or maybe you have other clubs that want to pay you more. But right now, it's like, just keep your head down, shut up, and play.
So here's the other issue that I'm going to throw in another ingredient into this pot that we're cooking. Locatelli makes about 3 million plus this season. And McKennie in one season has more assists than Locatelli has in his entire Juve career. So McKennie is looking at that, right? And his agent, more so his agent, not McKennie, right? So, like, for example, if McKennie's agent says, hey, McKennie had double-digit assists and he's getting paid less than Locatelli, that doesn't make sense to me. Make that shit make sense to me. That's kind of what
Giuntoli could come back though. He goes like, not my problem. That was the previous administration that screwed up.
And I'm sure that's what his initial response was, right?
Yeah,
and I think that's what
it is.
Because, like, for example, and it's kind of like what 10 Toes Down is saying here too. For me, the way that he plays, yes, McKennie is not technical on the ball, but McKennie gets you a sweaty assist when you need one. Whether you loft the ball into the box and he chest taps it down for Dusan or whoever, like he's got an engine, he's got a motor. And that's what fits a Mota system, is a guy with a motor. So for me, tactically, him being excluded never made sense. I think it was more so from the financial aspect of it. Because here's what makes this interesting, because I'm going to compare McKennie and Chiesa. We have not seen one instance or one report complain that McKennie's play style does not sync with Mota. How many times have we seen that Chiesa's defensive work rate, Chiesa's abilities, Chiesa's only able to do this, Chiesa can only do this, it doesn't mesh well with how Mota wants to play? Mota needs more defensive pressing, Mota needs more defensive actions. You see that a lot with correlation to Chiesa and why he's been omitted. You don't see anything why McKennie was omitted. I think the only thing that McKennie was omitted for was, I'm not signing an extension unless you give me a raise.
A substantial raise.
Yeah, like double.
Raise. No.
Yeah, let's iterate that. A substantial raise.
Look, I just think that if he does well one more season, maybe Juve, if not Juve, another club can give him a raise. That's fine. But they should have known, the agent should have known better that you have a new administration. So obviously they picked this guy for the purpose of trying to lower the salaries from the mistakes of Paratici and Arrivabene. So it's you can't just come in and ask for a raise when the club is going through financial difficulties. It's stupid. They're going to say no.
He was going to be making more money than what we're paying Luis.
Yeah, but I also think Gentili also overestimated his abilities, because, for example, he got hot with Dougie Luis, he got hot with Thuram, and then if you look after that, it's just been kind of a nosedive, right? Couldn't get this player, couldn't get that player. He's struggling with Nico, he's struggling with Koop. He's even Kalulu hasn't given him a straight up answer yet. Kalulu's let me talk to Mota first.
At least he got the midfield figured out, right? Which is what we wanted. I think the rest kind of came down to our shitty money situation.
I'm not gonna give him. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I just think dealing with Italian teams are a nightmare. Fiorentina is a nightmare, and obviously Atalanta is a nightmare.
And this is the first time he has to actually deal with this as a Juventini.
Maybe he didn't recognize the fact that when you're dealing with as a Juventus board of director, like a sporting director, you get treated differently. You get the Juventus tax, meaning the players are going to be even more expensive. Koop Miners is a different story, but at the end of the day, yeah, you're going to be hated. And I think I could understand the other teams. They're probably thinking we don't want another Juventus 9 season in a row to win constantly, because that would kill them. And that's
would. But it just kind of goes to show you again where I think, for example, Gentili focused on so much on getting this first team going, and then he totally forgot about depth. Because, for example, you look at your starting 11, and then you look at what's after that, your 12th man, it falls off a cliff. For example, this is if McKennie's not reinstated and you don't get Koop. Right now, it's Dusan, it's Locatelli, it's Yildiz, it's Weah, it's Thuram, it's Luis, it's Cambiaso, Cabal, Bremer, and Gatti. Or Danilo. No. Right? Gatti's on the bench. So, you look at that starting 11, and then you look at what your 12th man is, you're kind of okay. You don't even have, one decent sub at that point, where it's either going to be next gen or Milik.
We have 13 days though. Let's not write this off just yet. Koop might be imminent.
I understand, right? But
we have to get Koop though. We have to get. We have put way too much. We've invested way too much not to get him. That's the reality.
The way Atalanta's spending these last couple of days, that sounds like Koop money to me.
Yep.
Sounds like Koop money to me. So.
It was Fabiano Della Valle, sorry. she posted, I don't know, about for a couple hours ago, that basically the agreement was if he wants to leave, if he gets an offer from a big team, which is Juve, and Atalanta get the money that they want, which they are. I've heard as high as 59 mil this past week. They asked for 60. And as long as they get the replacement, which they did today, Samardich, and they're still looking for O'Reilly as well, apparently. I mean, those conditions have all been met now. The only thing I can see them doing, just because they're the biggest, they're just a bunch of
They're
fucking
gonna spite. They're gonna
people.
spite. No, they're gonna
Yeah.
spite.
They're going to wait. They're going to draw it out as long as they absolutely possibly could. It might even be 13 days from now, for all we know.
Yeah.
But
Well, I
they
mean,
will take that advantage.
Fiorentina, Rocco did the same thing with Dusan with us, right? First 2-3 months of January, no, he's not being sold. No one's going to buy him. Yada yada yada. Last week of January, oh, we're selling Dusan.
All we got to hope is that they don't have the fluid funds, and that they just need to make the sale to get those funds to make all these other deals actually push through.
ADL did the same thing with Giuntoli. He wouldn't release them until the very, because if they don't have to, why not, right? If it's just to slow down Juventus as much as they can, what incentive do they have to do us a solid, Yeah, which is why I hope after this Mercado, we don't deal with any of them until we're in a good enough situation where they come looking for our players because they're actually developing them and people want them. Right now, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that advantage, unfortunately. So
I hope we never deal with Fiorentina. I hope Fiorentina gets relegated. Same thing with Atalanta. That will never happen with them. That will never happen. Clearly, I do think Atalanta's run well. I hate to say it. They are run fairly well, but for Fiorentina, yes, I hope they get relegated. I hate Camiso with a passion. And that's another thing. We get Nico Gonzalez and never speak to them again. Seriously, this is just getting too much.
And that's the thing. Like, I don't even want Nico because he's from Fiorentina.
I get it
because of that.
I don't want him either. I mean, if we have other options, by all means. I like the idea of Conceição. I like that player. I think he's a very good player. I wouldn't mind seeing him on the Juve shirt. Again, if you have other options or like having a Jadon Sancho for loan, that would be great too. The only way I could see that happening with Jadon Sancho going on a loan, it's on the last minute of the Mercado.
And that's kind of what's holding us up is the loan option. So as we know, Italy likes loan options. The other countries, not so much. That's why when we look at Conceição, they didn't like our initial $5 million loan offer. I think we bumped to 8 as reported. They don't like that. Whereas Fiorentina, being an Italian club, they're more open in the terms of Nico. Okay, yeah, we'll take $5 million off the bat and then go from there. That's kind of how I'm seeing it play out.
Real quick, do you guys mind if I give my quick my top 4? I missed out on the combo, and this is just for Serie A, by the way, just really quick. I had Inter, Juve, Milan, and Atalanta, and the reason why I know a lot of you guys all had Napoli in there, but I don't know if you guys have been watching, but Conte's starting to be Conte.
That's why he'll do well for 2 seasons.
But I mean, if anything, like their Mercado has been outside of Buongiorno has been pretty much non-existent. And I'm sorry, but if you bring in Lukaku for Osimhen, that's a downgrade for me. So I don't actually see Napoli getting better as like these last spate of deals that Atalanta's getting. Plus, they reinforced striker with Briguglio before because Kamaka is going to be back later on in the year. I think that they're better built to hit top 4 than Napoli.
With Napoli, though, I would say that aren't they planning to sell Osimhen?
They've been
planning.
That's really what's going to dictate their Mercado.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, and nobody's meeting their. I forgot what his release clause was, but even PSG didn't want to pay it. And if those clubs are balking at it, like if they're going to sell him, it's probably going to be for less than that. And then, like I said, they're going to get Lukaku. But
the thing is, they don't have to worry about Europe like they have a much easier schedule than Inter Milan, Juve, Atalanta, right? That's kind of where I see him. Like Conte just does so well when he doesn't have to care about Europe.
Yeah, I just see him
He's
and
good in
ADL
league.
having a bad. I see him and ADL not getting along a lot sooner
Yes,
than I
that's
originally
true.
anticipated.
Some I could just see them having some sweet, passionate Neapolitan sex. That's what those two are going to do.
You know what? I'll make a prediction. Yeah,
Starting now.
I'll make a prediction. I'll probably hate to say it. Inter is probably going to be the first one. I think they got a pretty good core. Juve, I can make Juve second. I still think they're an unknown. I don't know them too well. I don't know about Milan either. So I'm gonna say Atalanta third, Milan fourth, and Roma fifth. I'm gonna believe in Roma. I'm gonna give them a chance, the benefit of the doubt. And if they will be it.
I need to see how Inter do outside of playing in Genoa. Because, like, for example, if they played the same way they played in Genoa for the season, I think they're in trouble.
If they start making those mistakes, yeah, because they weren't doing that.
Last
year.
Too early.
If they start making those mistakes and VAR's actually
holding them. Well, that was the interesting thing, to be honest with you. I thought the officiating, because, for example, even with the called back penalty for Milan, I thought the ref actually handled that well, where he called it as a penalty on Morata and then was like, okay, let's review it. And then he looks at it. And I thought I think maybe this season we might actually have more kind of I'm going to make the call and then I'm going to have VAR kind of pull it back and see if there's a clear and obvious error. Because for example, with the Inter handball at the end, if you look at it from an angle, it looks like he hit it with his head, but it's just the way that he had his hand put up. His hand caught it and then doinked it off his head. So the fact that they sat there and were like, yeah, we got to review this and do it. I mean, obviously, still Junior Macias, you got what the fuck kind of penalty was that? But lucky he got the rebound. But I think, I don't know, just to me, it's always tough to play in Genoa. That's one of the hardest places to play away.
Hit the ball.
There is the Thuram definitely is at fault there, I think.
Yeah, Thuram definitely made a meal out of that. Because, for example,
yeah, but he looked good, man. That's who scares me on that team more than anybody. He looks, he looks ready. He looks ready for sure.
But again, though, that last season, that probably would have been a penalty for Inter. So, I think the VAR officiating has stepped up. Again, I also want to say, please do not sleep on this Milan team. Because once they get all the pieces rolling, this Milan team is...
Sorry.
I think this is in comparison with last year, right?
Oh, no. Just to watch. Just to watch. Ruella rolling around like a little bitch.
Yeah, it's the breakdancing Olympics right there.
I don't know. I think he should have represented Australia instead of that one chick.
The breakdancing. Oh man,
I don't know, man.
I can't believe that's still a thing. The Olympics are done. People are still losing their mind.
You know what the thing about Milan that I noticed today, Dash, is just I don't see them making that step if Leao keeps being Leao.
He does the same move. He does the same move over and over and over again.
He's just pace, and even then, he's just pace, and he can't finish.
It's what is it? It's funny because I was sitting there and I was watching the game. I'm like, okay, he ducks his right shoulder, ducks his left, ducks his right, and then kicks the ball out to his left and tries to win with pace. And it's just I'm sitting there, I'm watching the Torino right back or right wing back look at it, and he's like, bro, you keep doing the same fucking move over and over again. It was I'm like, Leao, there's this thing. He is the Portuguese Chiesa.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree.
Except he has two knees.
Yeah. He's slightly
faster.
Difference.
Slightly faster.
I'm not really too hot on Leao. I think he's good, but I don't think he's
nobody
people make him out to be.
Nobody on that Portuguese national team, none of those starters look like they're anything crazy.
Yeah, no. I just don't, like I said, with Leao, I just think he just seems predictable. He has a decent shot, he can finish, but I just think he's very predictable for sure. Like there's nothing. I see a player like him, I'm like, that's okay.
Well, we've seen in the Italian league as well. These Gelais is another one, right? They get figured out. The defensive acumen in the Italian league is just too good to just
Actually,
say, I'm going to come at you, bro.
I like
you got
Gelais better though, to be honest.
It's harder because here's the thing that folks don't understand. It is much harder to dominate as a winger back to back to back to back to back because Italian defenses always adjust every season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for example, if Lautaro doesn't hit 25 goals this season, nobody's losing their mind because they know, hey, we're going to prioritize on this. There's always, like, for example, in Italian football, there's one guy that hits a very career year season, and then the next season kind of takes a little bit of a slump, and then someone else steps up and covers it. That's generally how good teams work. Well, I mean, all Lazio would do is just say, fuck it, Immobile's up there at some point. That's just kind of how their offense was. But so I kind of want to talk about us in Como on Monday. Part of me sees it as a draw.
I found it just to go back to your joke.
You found Barella. Yeah. See, I told you Barella could represent him.
Okay, sorry.
I don't know if it was Barella or was like Neymar. That's what I was thinking, Yeah. I thought he was just pulling up a Neymar there.
Does that formation make sense to you though, Dash?
4-1-4-1. That means that, like, for example, he wants to run a double offensive pivot and one defensive pivot. So, for example, if he, sorry, I gotta move the Lions preseason game over. I've got like too many screens growing, so I'll get the board out.
Jesus Christ!
Hey man, I had to deal with fans last season saying you should bench Jared Goff for Hendon Hooker. Bro misses a wide open receiver. Come on. And this is with the threes.
Sorry, who cares about the Lions?
I do. Fuck off. All right. So here we go. So when he does a 4-1-4-1, so I'm going to throw Luis here, and then obviously Koop is not going to be with the team tomorrow or Monday, and I'll throw Locatelli's bum ass here. So how it's going to look is it's going to look like this. So Thuram is going to play on the left. Way is going to be out wide here. So on paper, it says it's a 4-1-4-1, and it's essentially lined up like this. But Sal, in all honesty, it's going to be a 4-3-3.
4-3-3.
That's really what it is. It's just the idea is that he's saying with the 4-1-4-1 that Yildiz and Weah will drop down deeper than normal left and right wingers will. So like they'll be playing this zone here. So they can play this zone here. And essentially, let me switch Cambiasso and Cabal here to make it a little bit more realistic. And then I'll move Kalulu out and then throw Danilo here. So the idea is like there might be instances where Cabal might overlap. Same thing with Cambiasso. They won't overlap at the same time. Let me reiterate that. That's never going to happen. But for example, this you'll see a lot of Weah and Cambiasso on the right. They'll overlap each other. So the idea is when you do that, when you're starting at a 4-1-4-1, you have Douglas Luiz, who is essentially the conductor of the ball, and he's going to essentially be orchestrating the play. Thuram is going to be the offensive defensive pivot, or the offensive pressing pivot. I'm sorry there. And then Loca is going to be the guy that traps the ball, wins the ball, facilitates the play to Dusan, and miss absolute crosses from 40 yards out to open players. But
so we're scoring 0 goals is what I'm seeing right now.
1 to 2.
Yeah, I got 1-2. Yeah.
1-0 terror ball. Let's go.
It might be ironically terrible.
I think we'll probably keep possession. It's just we're going to miss a lot of chances.
Dusan's going to miss a lot of
chances. Come on.
I mean, just me seeing Loca playing that far up the pitch makes me sad.
It's not like
I like it.
Yeah, like that's where I'm a little bit like if it's like Koop, then I'm a lot more for example, I'm a lot more comfortable, right? If it's Koop, Thuram up there, and then like Koop's able to Koop is miles ahead. Like, for example, I think he's probably the best midfielder in Serie A.
He's going to be our best striker.
That too.
So KB, just to aside here quickly, sorry. He wants to know why Bones, his icon is cooler than his. Guys, become a member, help us out. So right now we're kind of building on things. What we're doing, if we have pre-records, members get it right away, and then everyone else gets it the next morning, typically. So that's one little thing. All you have to do, 99 cents American, as little as that. But basically, KB, you've been a member for 6 months, and Bones been a member for 12 months. So I mean,
Bones is an OG.
So yeah, basically, like, just keep up, buddy. Just keep up. But these are all our members, so thank you to everyone there. Matt joining last week. Thank you very much.
See, 10 toes. I think it's a 1A, 1B. I don't think it's a 1 and a 2. Because there's something. Sal, come on now.
We're gonna do this. If we're gonna do this, screw it. Let's do this.
I'll show you yours if you show me mine.
Jesus.
It's like, all right, everybody, whip your dicks out. Wait, what? German Dave's like, I'm up. Mine's not as long.
There it is. Sorry.
Oh, everyone's dick measuring now. It always comes down to the dick measure. Everyone's throwing down now.
There you go.
JC, I mean, it's all automated. I can't give you a special icon, unfortunately. But now here's Jeff. Oh, man. Well, thank you, everyone. Obviously, all our members are here right now. They're all throwing down. It's fun. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone. And if you want to be cool like these guys, I mean, all I need is 99 cents, and it's yours.
So for Como, I don't think it's a matter of being negative. It's just kind of looking at it where the team's still kind of adjusting. There's still pieces being added. There's, we haven't seen pure sharpness on certain things unless they completely flip the script on us and we're absolutely holding back during preseason. But it's not being negative. Because, like, for example, look at Fonseca Milan. They beat Man City. They beat Real Madrid. They beat all these teams in preseason, and they came out flatter than fuck against Torino this first half. So it's like, it's going to be normal. It's the first game of the season. It's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be very, very
keeping one thing in mind too. Like Real Madrid, for example, wasn't doing like all crazy in the preseason last year, and they weren't playing like stellar games in La Liga. They dominating, but at the end of the day, they went and won the Champions League. So it's too early to call. On my prediction on this is simply that we're going to struggle in the back four. I just think Bremer needs to adjust, and Dusan has to adjust as well. The moment I saw Mota's game plan, I already thought of the two players that were going to struggle the most was Dusan and Bremer, or at least Dusan more.
And thank you, Jace, or Bones, sorry. Just gifted a membership, and that goes to Vincenzo. So there you go, Vincenzo. Welcome to the crew. Measure your dick. But the 1 month. No, after a month, measure your dick.
No, I don't think we're not saying that we're gonna lose to Como. Let me make that clear here. Like,
oh, it's just gonna be boring as shit.
Yeah, it's just
we're gonna look like
I'm
trash.
just saying, don't expect high tempo offense. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying
it'll be like last year.
I'm just gonna say this, like, because I'm not sitting here saying that. Oh my goodness, like we're gonna like lose or tie to Como. I'm just saying, hey man, don't expect it to be a cakewalk. Don't expect it to be pretty.
Tell's asking what we getting free inches. That's right. Here on the dive, you can get free inches for your dick swingers. Just 99 cents, and you can increase your size.
He's like, I think we'll have a full high tempo and Thuram with a screamer. If that's the case, man, then Juve have been fucking bamboozling us for the last 2 months.
I hope you're right. That's it.
Even Thuram flat out said, like, I'm not a scorer. It's not what I do. It's not my skill set.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was
that's his brother.
Yeah, I said draw, but I didn't say we're gonna go there and lose. I said you could see a draw happen. I could see us drawing that game. I could see the concerns with drawing it because it's gonna be a slow start. Inter and Milan both drew games.
Yeah, the only hope, really, I guess the difference is that, like, Inter and Milan, they played mid-table teams. We're playing just a freshly promoted team, right? At home, we should.
Those two have fully built rosters.
Yes,
we don't.
I mean that's the difference, right? But so we'll see. We should win, technically. Will we? It might not.
At most,
might be
0.
Bro,
I
you
would
literally
think at
6.
most, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, man, Dal's coming in hard. Yeah, I mean, I think he's trying to.
He's coming in with the pre-workout.
Is it the pre-workout? Is that what's going on? Are you pre-workouting right now, Dal? Because man, you're coming in hot.
he's doing bench presses. He's like, fucker's gonna draw this son of a bitch.
Yeah, it's getting angry. His texts are getting more angry too as I go down. Pile of dog shit, overrated turds.
I like it.
Deadlifts. There you go. Deadlifts. So
he's like back there. Hey,
just
come on now.
dropping those weights on the floor.
Yeah, no, don't blow that shit out now, mate.
Got the whole gym shaking.
No, fucking Doll's going Super Saiyan. Doll's like, fuck, Como!
Yeah.
He deadlifts so damn hard he shits himself.
Deadlifts are one of those movements that you have to do that, like the elongated grunt, right? Because as you bring up,
I just think of some of the most disappointing points of my life, and then I just lift. I just go at it.
Fuck, 300 kilograms. I bet you nobody here is lifting 300 kilograms.
And,
that's like 480 pounds, just in case you're like trying to.
I mean, I could do half. Half of that, not a problem. Yeah. No.
Yeah, ROFLM. Ruffle.
I just call him Rufflem.
Rufflem. Yeah, we did show the Rey Mysterio thing earlier. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, Ray's the new right back. Hey, can we sign Dom as like a midfielder? I just want to see Dom talk shit to everybody.
As long as it comes with Rhea Ripley.
I really.
All right,
Dave. Okay,
right.
Dave's
I know some things. I know
he's been hanging out with German Dave a lot more recently. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm down. I know what's up.
Yeah, you just need Dom on the team. I can't believe Dom had the audacity to tell Logan Paul, "Can you even still go into Japan?"
There it is again for you.
I love it.
All right. There's one thing I wanted to kind of touch on as well with you guys, because I think we have different feelings on this guy. Dybala possibly shipping out to Arabia after he brings his little lover boy there, Sule, with him to Roma.
Do we
care?
I don't
care. Do we even care? Does anybody care?
Where's all the people that were telling me that he was going to prove us all wrong and carry Roma to all new heights and take Roma to this place, take Roma to that place, do this, do that? Certain individual that she dwells on Twitter, but whatever.
Yeah,
I mean, they're broke, so it wouldn't surprise me. We were wondering where they were getting all this money from all these signings. So
yeah.
No, I think it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter to me. It's okay. He's done.
It's ironic.
Saudi, make some extra money, watch an authoritarian government. Yeah, sure. Why not? Go ahead.
Totti said, "Hey, man, he's not available. He's not that available." I'm like, all right, G, I understand.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of glazing, and this kind of goes back to our original point with Yildiz, when we glaze these players too hard and they don't live up to our expectations, because we're giving ourselves false expectations. So we're setting ourselves up for failure. And Dybala isn't just another one of these examples. He had his time in the spotlight. Like, there's a reason to love Dybala. I get it.
Dybala proved himself. He actually performed well in the 2 seasons before going to get the number 10. I mean, he made it to the finals in the Champions League, despite that was a horrible 4-1 loss. But at least he has some badges earned.
True.
Whereas Yildiz had one January that he did really good, and everybody batted an eye, and then now it's like what he could be. Honest,
he's not even the best
give him
youngster
too
in
much
Turkey.
pressure.
Yeah.
He's not even the best. He's not the best youngster in Turkey either. So it's like, let's give him some time. Let's
Yeah,
take some time.
relax.
You
I think
know,
my
we're all
only
excited.
my only regret that I have with Dybala is Dybala wasn't able to take that next step, right? Because he
But
was
then
a
he just
very
dropped
good
off.
player. He was a very good player and was like a step away from being generational. And like that 16-17 season was like him being just that step away from generational, but he just
Yes, absolutely.
never could finish that. Like, oh my goodness, if he finished that, like part of me is sitting there thinking like if he was able to take that next step, because like the moment he was being compared to Messi after that, it was
Don't
game over
compare.
for him.
Yeah, you don't want to compare to Messi.
I don't think anybody should compare themselves to Messi nor Ronaldo for that
Well,
matter.
it was just it was the media, because like for example, remember that goal that he hit against Barcelona where he just took it on his left, dinked it around, and rolled it around PK and all of them. Like
Yes,
that is Messi-esque, and everyone's just like, "Fuck me, this guy's it." And then it's just he could never reach that level.
and that's the thing we have to put into consideration with these youngsters. If anything, the coaches and agents or whatever the case may be, injuries are like they have to be like careful when taking care of their own bodies, because once you get injured, you're not going to be in that same form, and it's hard to regain that form as well. So you have to maintain yourself at the best way possible. So it's always work hard to get it and twice as hard to maintain it. And maintaining it is really hard, because Ronaldo and Messi has made it look really easy, but in reality, it's really hard. And those two players raised the gold standard of soccer or football so high that now, we think that every other player is going to play the same way. And that's not going to be the case. So you have to watch your body, and you can't get injured. That's the thing.
So I love here. KB's in-laws just walked in as we were cursing, and then he lied to them to tell them that we're usually PG. That's nice that you started. But
I'm still tempted to
don't
start
lie to your
swearing.
in-laws.
I'm just tempted to just start swearing just to mess with them.
Oh man, no, that's actually kind of funny. All right, there is one more thing I did want to touch on tonight as well. Going back to the numbers, Perrine gets number 1. Anybody thought that one was going to happen?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise
I don't
me.
mind it.
Yeah, it's just odd. You'd think Di
Yeah.
Gregorio, but obviously he's
He doesn't want it. He didn't want it.
yeah, interesting. Look who shows up.
Oh, it is mine friend. Look at that. Look at that Chad. Glasses and professional hairdo and everything.
Oh, you
He even brushes it too, you bastard, you.
I don't know. I just slipped in a t-shirt because I was in a polo the whole day and sweated it like there's no
Oh,
tomorrow.
I thought you were about to say you were naked. I was like, what kind of work are we talking about here?
Hey, we closed a pretty nice deal today, so it was
Oh,
nice.
you finished the Koop Myers deal?
Yeah,
Oh,
seriously, where is it?
I wish it would be in that one, but I would have done a better deal than 59 million.
Yeah, we'll see what the final numbers are. I saw anywhere. The lowest I saw this week actually was like 45 million plus 15. I think that was like one of the newspapers. So I just immediately shoved it aside. But anywhere from like 50 to 57 with bonuses, like nothing below 55 essentially. So
Yeah.
Well,
But
it's
there
kind of like
there was also like 59 including bonuses, so I don't know, man.
that was the highest.
I'm still scared that we will go like to the and we breach that 60 million barrier, man.
And I think 10 Toes Down brought us great context earlier, right? Like they turned down Liverpool's offer of 50 last year.
Yes, of course. Yes.
So
100%.
it's one of those things where it's just like they aren't moving until you hit somewhere close of 60.
Yes, and they have the power and like
They have the control.
they
They have the control.
Yeah, they control it. They know we are the only club interested right now, so they are determining the price, and they don't have to sell me technically. So
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's a similar situation to Calafiori and Bologna, right? Bologna
exactly.
had total control of the contract, just like, for example, how Atalanta. Like, I understand, like, for example, don't get me wrong, Atalanta are being cunts about the situation. Like, they
absolutely.
are. There's no way that they're not.
I just wonder if that agreement they had with Toon, if that was a legally binding agreement or if it was a gentleman's agreement.
I think it's a gentleman's agreement.
No, of course not. It was a handshake.
Yeah,
it was a handshake
club?
deal, like, but it's not like legally binding in the end. So
No, that'd be
Why would you trust
stupid.
Lotito like that? Get that shit in
Oops.
paper.
No,
You
no,
got
no,
three?
no.
Not
yeah.
Lotito, or yeah, fuck. Whatever.
I mean,
Get some Lotito in your mouth.
Yeah,
I
got
think
some.
I
Why would
think
you-
that,
those
with the
fuckers.
Koop deal, like him putting pressure on Atalanta and like not going to the game, I think that was one good factor. I wish Calafiori would have done something similar to that, but yeah, that was
Yeah,
one.
but Calafiori didn't care as much to go specifically to Juventus,
Yeah.
I think.
Plus,
Yeah.
I think he
And,
was on. I think his deal ran till 2027, so he couldn't.
Yeah.
Couldn't really do anything.
What my problem is, honestly, the last message from Sal and the news channel from Alfredo Pedula, what it is, where he said nobody expected this to be a saga. We all knew this would turn into a saga. Like who in their right mind was happy-go-lucky to expect that it will be smooth sailing. Like I didn't expect it to be that way.
No.
And yeah, no, this is what we are getting. Like to me, it was 100% clear. If we get him, it will happen like in the last days of the Mercato. I'm not even expecting it next week, honestly.
That would be
Well, there's
best
reports
case
that.
scenario.
Sorry.
No, I was saying next week would be best case scenario.
Yeah, what I just read too not too long ago was that it's going to be after the Como game, perhaps later in the week, even not even like a Tuesday. It might just be like just wait till next weekend.
No, I'm not expecting it to be a quick deal. Like anyway.
No. It's not in the best interest of Atalanta anyways. Yeah, why would you
No, of
want to
course
give
not.
the players immediately where you give him a lot later, then he's going to have a hard time reintegrating to the squad. That's an advantage to them.
And especially now when you see that both Milan teams had a fuck up, for example, today, and you see that you can snatch a 2-point gap or whatever, for example, maybe in the next couple of games. Yeah, you can nick a couple points here and there. Like, why would they help Juventus if they are in a good position? Like after the first game, of course, but technically it's a decent position now that both of them tied their games today.
Atalanta and Fiorentina both would, for them, if they had the ability, they would sign and do the paperwork at 23:59 of the last day.
Of course. Yeah,
they would do it at 23:59.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just looking up now. So their Juve's game. Okay, so they play on the 1st. So basically, as long as they make that deal after we play Verona on the 26th.
They can literally do it 1 minute before midnight. And you can do the medicals only at the next day, so he wouldn't be even available for that game. And you buy another week without Koop minus for you.
I get that, but basically, at the very least, if they just want some liquid funds, but they want to wait as long as they can, we have a game on the 26th. The next one's on the 1st. So if they wait to even like the 24th, 25th, that keeps Koop out of our lineup for that second game. They can't. They can try to push to keep him out for that third game, but that's basically like that's how I see it. We might see something after Verona. It might not come down right to the wire. It kind of depends on how much money Atalanta is going to need. Essentially, is there going to be? Do they have any more plans? Or do they have to make that push on O'Reilly?
No, they once they get O'Reilly and Lazar, and they're also going to do it because they're cunts. They're going to do pays and installments, right? Like they're going to have those paid in installments. So they've got the capital right now. They just don't give a shit. I honestly think because, like, for example, whether you want to call me negative or not, but Atalanta and Juve are in direct contention for top 4. Whether it's being honest at this point. They are in complete competition with each other. So the fact that and people need to understand, again, it is very difficult for Atalanta to sit there and say, we have to give our best midfielder who has scored 30 goals in the last couple seasons to a team that we're competing with for that Champions League money. So yes, they had the gentleman's agreement, the handshake agreement, but they are going to delay it as physically as possible.
And also they know how essential he is. He is the guy to unlock the squad, and they know that as the longer they can push it away, it will benefit them.
Yeah.
Well, let's just see if they have some sort of agreement. And I looked it up because I keep on screwing it up because nobody seems to know who Atalanta sporting director is. Tony D'Amico. That's the guy's name.
Yeah, I'm always for forgetting.
Yeah,
his name.
I know, and I screwed it up saying Lotito because I mean I put those guys ADL, Lotito, apparently Tony D'Amico. They're all in like that same group of like
I don't even know who it is. I don't even know who it is for Fiorentina because Comiso always comes in like at last second to fuck up the deals for us. I don't know who's negotiating up until that point.
Daniele Prade.
Yeah,
mean,
and
yeah,
by
but
the
it's
way,
always Comiso.
I'm not expecting Nico Gonzalez to come to us honestly
I don't think
because
he
of
is.
that bitch.
We'll see.
I don't think he is. I think they're gonna pivot and go to Conceição.
I kind of hope so because I don't want anybody from Fiorentina, and I'm banking on no Argentinians.
I'm still scared with Conceição that some other team, I don't know, Premier League or whatever, will come in like at the last second.
Now, speaking of shitty people to work for, here's Antonio Conte. I'll just read this out. Napoli's season starts tomorrow, and Antonio Conte is not happy with the situation. And thanks to Frankie for posting this, by the way, in the Discord. He just made it very clear in his press conference. Again, I expect a difficult situation, but not like this. I expected positive surprises, but it's been hard to find any. I expected better. Napoli finished in 10th last season isn't a coincidence. Whoever thinks it was just bad luck is far from reality. Mercato, it's a complicated situation. You know that very well. I'm sorry that it's all been blocked. What could I say? Our mantra must be to give 200% and go beyond our limits. We must be humble and patient. I don't know when Napoli will become competitive. It could be 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. I don't know. I don't know, man.
That's cold. That's cold.
The best part is where they just don't. Dude, the poor team doesn't even have training facilities. They're training in the woods.
Is this one of those? Is this one of those Antonio Conte moments where he goes like, "If you want the truth,
I give you the truth.
I give you the truth," and that's really what it comes down to.
And it's just like Sal says, they haven't even played a fucking game yet.
He's playing mind games.
You just saw them in training camp
for the fireworks.
But that's all. But I mean, but if you read that statement again, where they were saying like it's not a coincidence that we finished 10th, who is he shitting on? He's shitting on ADL. He's shitting on his boss already. So
straight up.
It's like, hey, who didn't see this coming?
Well, and that's the thing. Like, is ADL that stupid? You know, the first person to throw you under the bus is going to be Conte. Yes. Are you that conceited that you don't think that you're going to get thrown under the bus by Conte?
Maybe he's a masochist.
No, of course. And Dave, we said it will be fireworks, but dude, before the first game,
it's crazy. It's amazing.
Not even I expected to be fireworks like before the first game. Like imagine tomorrow the breaking news Conte fired before first game as head coach. Sorry, he coached the Coppa Italia game already. Sorry.
Yeah, Conte fired, replaced by Allegri.
There we go.
Who's even playing for them? Who's even playing for them tomorrow? Right, because they're not going to play. They're not going to play Osimhen. I doubt it. That they're gonna risk
it's gonna be Raspadori and Simeone. I'm always forgetting his surname. Yeah. Giovanni Simeone.
They're playing.
They tried them in the Copa game.
Oh my god.
Let's see.
Hellas Verona, huh?
This is their starting lineup proposed. Raspadori, Kvaratskhelia, Politano, Spinazzola, Lobotka, Anguissa, Di Lorenzo, Oliveira, Buongiorno, Romani, and Meret.
I think defensively in the midfield they're good. I think I don't know if they'll finish. It's not a bad squad. Like Lobotka and Anguissina, I don't know.
I like Lobotka.
I like how you added another syllable to his name again.
I know, I always do. Aguissina.
After thinking about it, I'm kind of regretting that I put them on P3.
I don't. Gotta
See,
keep that energy.
I didn't have them in my top 4, Jeremy.
But maybe if they get Max tomorrow for the first game immediately, maybe top 3
that changes everything.
is
That changes everything.
possible.
We gotta be careful because we don't want to come off as Max lovers.
No.
Oh yeah, that was
This-
funny.
this panel?
We got a comment on. So we took a short from one of our shows last week, I think it was. Where we basically, because we're talking about all the youngsters, the next gen that had moved on and that we made money off of, right? And we were kind of underhanded when we're saying, "Oh, thanks, Mike," or Mike, thanks, Max, Mikey, thanks, Max. You ruined all these young players for us. Anyways, it was a short cut off that, and of course,
somebody comments are,
thanks,
what did
Max,
Max
for what?
do? Yeah, you Allegri lovers. I'm like, oh, good lord.
Yeah, just casually building our players up to earn 112 million euros from them. Thank you for your dumb opinion.
It's always folks like that where it's just like, what did he do? And then it's like, oh, he didn't do anything. And then when it's like with Chiesa, oh, but Max ruined Chiesa. Wait, you just told me he didn't do anything, but now he ruined Chiesa. Like, does 2 + 2 = 4 to you, or does it equal fish?
And the youngster he just launched, that's number 10.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, and then when you ask them, hey, what did Chiesa do? Hey, he's our star boy.
He's our yeah. He's
He's 26, you idiot.
He's our star boy. He's our boy.
I'm done talking about Chiesa. I don't ever want to bring that situation back. I'm tired of talking about him. He's like, fuck. There's nothing to talk about. I've said what I've said.
Okay, let's move on because we do. We had an agreement not to talk about him, so we gotta finish
keeps
that
making
one.
the fucking news. That's the problem.
I know, but we got to ignore it.
Yeah, let's ignore it. The last name to touch on today, still waiting, Kulalu. What do we think of that situation?
Dude, get the hell out of here, dude. If you don't make your mind up like within 5 days, shut the hell up, man.
Well, he's out of the Milan project.
If you don't make your mind up within 48 hours, you're done.
I mean, if you don't make your mind up in the next 2 hours,
it's crazy that it was this morning. We set a deadline with 48 hours, dude. What the hell, dude?
Are we blocking?
No.
Do you think we're just blocking? Is that really what's going on? Or is that the same thing with Nico? Because now Atalanta apparently wants Kulalu. Now Atalanta wants Nico Gonzalez, right? Are we just?
No, they're being petty. They're being petty. We did it with the reports on O'Reilly that Juventus was looking into O'Reilly. They're doing the same thing that we did to them, pretty much.
Can be. My thought is still, even if we get Kalulu, and by the way, Dave, you're always writing his name wrong with Kulalu. It's Kalulu.
Kalulu. Yeah.
Add another variable.
I didn't add a syllable. I just swapped some U's and A's, some vowels.
Kalulu. Yeah, I feel like Kalulu's acting Delulu, and that's just
absolutely.
Yeah, Delulu meaning delusional.
Delulu starting on the right side.
I still think that the idea was still to get another center back, even if we get him. I don't think that he's essential for anything. That's why I was surprised, from the news, that we are interested in him. Because
I think he's a
technically we have
Band-Aid.
Gatti and we have Danilo on the right side if we need to, and we can switch Cambiaso onto there as well. So I don't know how where the idea came from. If we have him on the books for cheap, I don't mind it, because he can help in terms of rotation. But I was surprised in the first place that we were this close all of a sudden out of nowhere. But I don't think that he's essential for anything. He's not tall enough to be a center back next to Bremer, in my opinion, and this meaning we have to go for a center back anyways, in my opinion. Now, if it's gonna be now or in the winter when the market maybe helps us a bit around the winter time, I don't know, but I still think we need a center back.
Well, Dell's saying Weston right back. That's actually interesting. He could possibly do that. I don't know. Would that work with Mata's system? Do you like that?
Weston, he could.
It could,
I think
it
Weston
could
could play.
technically work, but I don't know if he's flexible enough on the position. Yeah, I don't know if he's that much better than trying Gatti or Danilo on the right side.
But that does free
think,
him.
No, but I do think Cambiaso's a lock as the starter.
Yeah,
I think
sure,
Cambiaso-
starter, but we're talking about in terms of depth, right? That could-
Cabal and Cambiaso are the fullbacks, I think, for Como.
I do think McKennie comes in as a depth option in the fullback position, but I think he's also a depth. I think he would be a substitute to Thuram.
Well, he says Mata wants an all-rounder. So, yeah, I mean, if you're going to use him as a utility players, that,
No, yeah, there's
maybe.
nothing wrong with that. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
McKennie's going to be that utility player. Like that's a given that McKennie's going to be that guy.
Yeah. No, the problem is his assists from last season were depending on hustle and not on him being a good passer. And in this system, he has to be a good passer, and that is what I'm scared for.
Yeah, and
when
that's
you
why
when you use him as an all-rounder or as a rotational player, he can work. Like if you have Koop minus, if you have your finished midfield, and you have in a game, let's say Douglas Luiz and Koop minus, then you can use McKennie, for example, to be the box to box, carry the ball or share it a little bit. Then you can get away with it. But I don't think that you can play him as a ball playing midfielder or as a fullback in a system that is dependent on so many short, quick, and like accurate passes.
What
Yeah,
I
I
like,
think-
though, well, Weah, the Americans, when they link up, when you put Murica on the right flank, especially if you put them in as subs.
when you put Murica on the right side, good things happen.
But think about late in the
maybe
game, 70th minute, you put those two in and you just cook their left side.
We unleash
Maybe
freedom.
Maurizio Pochettino will coach them up.
We unleash 50 pounds of freedom by tossing Burger King and McDonald's at our opponents.
With a helping side of ranch dressing.
Of course.
Better than ketchup.
We will piss the Italians off by putting ketchup on pizza. That's what we'll do.
Jesus, somebody's truck backing up into their home. What's going on?
Not me.
Backing up that dumpy of freedom.
Yeah.
another truckload of freedom just arrived.
Of
We have
pure
plenty of that in
patriotic
Florida.
freedom.
I think though, like kind of on the grounds of it, I think they want McKennie as a depth option with his grinder assists. I think is a very valuable asset.
He's got a grinder account.
Whoa!
Ay,
Whoa!
Hey man,
I speak from experience there, buddy. But
You never know.
I do think though, like for example, McKennie being able to give, because again, McKennie is the wild card assist guy. So I think having that is definitely a versatile aspect of it. I think they want that in the bench for a depth piece. I mean, if they're going to pay him 2.5, 2.6, it's obviously for a role player position.
What I don't understand, the talk is to send Miretti out on loan, like if we keep McKennie, but Miretti is out until mid-September. Like who will? Yes, the talk is Genoa and on loan, but I don't know. Doesn't he have to pass a medical test or whatever? Or are they taking him blind, like on trust that he will get fit?
I think they're doing
because
it.
Nobody's doing these deals anymore where a player is injured and you take him like on the chance that he gets fit again. And
they've been talking already though, right? Like they've already wanted him. I think that's kind of why, and they know it's just a small knock. He's going to be healthy in a couple weeks. Genoa clearly need some depth in that position. So
yeah, I do, and I kind of do think that move
was decent today.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. But it's a long season, right? So, I mean, if they want him, I think it's great. A good mid-table team. And we said that last year that he needs to go to like a low to mid-table team. Now that he's got another year, I think mid-table, absolutely. Genoa is, let's do it.
And I think loan is good because if we get him back, I think when he has a full Serie A season, maybe as a starter, or if he gets subbed in like I don't know, if he plays at least like 75% of the games, it will be good for his development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and hopefully, puberty kicks in and he comes back huge.
What he needs, that too. He needs.
No, he just needs to meet Dahl in London. He just needs to meet Dahl in London and just work out with him and do deadlifts.
Yeah, we need to get him to England.
I think with Miretti is just he comes off to me as a very indecisive player. He's got talent, but like he doesn't know how to execute, and he seems indecisive.
Yeah.
He doesn't make the right
think he's too
passes
scared to
because he's
try
nervous.
sometimes.
And that's what it
His
is. I think
movements
he
are
needs
really
to be, he needs to be in a mid-table team where he's able to make mistakes to learn.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be at Juve.
No. My thing is, because I see his movements, like he's always in the right place, and he has an open passing lane sometimes, and he doesn't dare that risky pass. That, for example, Douglas Luiz like immediately tried those mad passes like you see in the Premier League. Like, have you seen Trent Alexander-Arnold's assists today to Mo Salah, for example, or the pre-assist? Like from the midline, like a through ball across the defender, like directly into the box. That was amazing, for example. And that is a pass that Douglas Luiz, for example, will try like any like he will take that chance like any time of the day. And Miretti is scared to do those passes. Look, I tell you, I think we know that he is capable of those passes, but I don't know if he has the mentality to risk something.
I think he will. I think
he needs
he'll
time.
grow.
He needs time.
I think he will
And
do
it's
good.
the same with Miretti. Like his positioning is perfect in my opinion. He knows where to stand. He finds the open spaces. He is free in most cases, but he doesn't dare that deadly pass that leads to an assist.
Well, give us Koop, and we don't have to worry about any of those guys as a starter, at least. You know, we have our magical, our
Dude.
Almost, it's almost like our fantasy midfield in a sense. If we get Thuram, like we've been talking about for weeks. I mean, who are we kidding? Thuram, Louise, and Koop. Let's do it. Let's finish this. Lock her down. Time's a ticking.
If we do the deal for 60, I'm gonna go crazy because for 60 could have been done like a month ago. You just say immediately, yeah, all right, here's the 60. Oh,
I think even at 60, they're gonna fucking take their time, you know? Like
I think they would. I think it's just Atalanta you're dealing with. They're just pricks. That's it.
But honestly, I think if they had 60 on the table without all these games, and here are 45 plus 15 or 50 plus this and that, if it would have been, I don't know, immediately 50 plus 10 or 55 plus 5 or whatever, I think they would have done it. In that case, they would have put the business like over.
You have to play the games though. Because if you don't play the game, then the next guy's gonna be like, "Well, they don't play games. This is what I want. Pay me." And that's what we're trying to get away.
But after that, we don't need to buy in Serie A anymore. So.
No, I already said that.
Yeah, Jeff. You're the one that was kind of saying once we're done with Koop, that's it.
Done. I'm done with
it. I absolutely agree. Hey, don't even try anymore for Nico Gonzalez. Tell them to fuck themselves.
That's also to fuck Atalanta though. Because Atalanta wants him now. So continue fucking with Nico, but buy Conceição. And not because I like Nico better than Conceição. It's just I don't want trash from fucking Fiorentina, especially in Argentina.
I
mean, saying it, it's sick. Keep him there. But fuck over Atalanta.
I don't think he's bad. I don't think he's a bad player, to be honest with you.
No, he's a very good player. He's a very good player. Like to the contrary, I think 30 is even a good deal. It's just Fiorentina's getting on my damn nerves.
It's to me is like I want to grab a right hook to Comiso's face. That's all I think.
Fuck yeah.
I think that's what it is. I mean, like Comiso is just a headache for me. I think him and then the Atalanta board of directors. To me, people are saying Mercato is crazy. No, I think Mercado's insane. That this is just a game of insanity, trying to do the same thing, expecting different results.
Yeah.
This is what it is.
Dahl wants us to do UFC streams. Canadian Dave won't even be able to make it past the pre-qual or the pre-card.
Yeah, it's way past my bedtime.
By the
plus
way,
it's like $60.
I'm skipping the prelims all the time and get to the main card.
Well, on the bright side, I have the Albanian channels that sometimes they stream the UFC fights, the pay-per-view. So it's one way for me to cheat the system.
Yeah. I have my ways as well. Like I don't pay the UFC. I have my ways.
I don't. I could care. I would not pay $60 for UFC. I don't care if it's $10. I could care less. I'm not that excited for UFC at all. But yeah,
I just don't think it's The money.
I
It's
would
about
not even pay
accessibility.
DAZN for Serie A. Like, I'm not that much out of my mind to pay $50 for
Oh yeah, because
sport.
it's expensive for. Yeah, it's really expensive.
You know what's kind of ironic about the whole Serie A thing? Because they dropped the prevent piracy campaign today, and then people were like, "Bro, like, you can only watch Serie A in like 3 countries. You guys haven't sold any broadcasting rights anywhere else in the world."
It's so brain dead. They're like, stop piracy. Yet their broadcasting sucks. That's why people steal your shit, because you suck, man. Like, figure it out. You are the problem.
Nobody wants to pay you.
Yeah, like, why would I want to
why
pay the
does Pirates have a
stooges up
problem
here?
with the Prem?
Yeah.
The Prem
Oh
does
my
look
God.
good. We all know it, right? Like, it's just the production quality is that much better.
Well,
Look,
production.
I have.
I was gonna say the style
Go
of
for it.
play in the Premier League is fun to watch. Doesn't mean it's effective or pragmatic, but it's fun.
Yeah,
So
but
you
Peacock
love
is-
to watch 5-4
No.
results, and that's why a lot
The
of
thing
people like
is,
the Prem.
it's not only about the playing style. Yet you can watch like 2 freshly promoted teams that don't have any players that will finish the season with 20 points or even less. But you still have fun watching it because the production value is amazing. Like, I have a full sports package of Sky. I have Formula One, I have Bundesliga, I have the second Bundesliga, I have the Premier League. I'm not watching golf, but they don't. They even have golf and stuff like that. So I'm paying those 25 euros because I can watch it in 4K, simultaneous streams and everything. And the production value is amazing. Like, to watch a Premier League game in 4K because they have the actual cameras, like, it's so much different than what you watch on the zone. It's
720p.
crazy.
I mean, you're putting that kind of money to the Premier League. You better have 4K.
Yes,
Yeah, that's
Yes,
why
but if
people
you
are watching it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I
and
don't
they
know
have
if we've.
done and they have done that well. That's why I say, like, kudos to the commercial department of the league, like that brought it up to like into these spheres. And yeah, the production value is amazing. Like, you can watch a trash game like Aston Villa and West Ham today and you will have fun.
Well, and then
It's
it's like the
simple.
quality of Peacock is so much better than Paramount Plus. Like,
Well,
Peacock
that's
is
Paramount
amazing
Plus is
picture.
going down. Have you not heard that? Sal, maybe you might know. Have you heard the reports on Paramount this past week? Maybe you can fill us in.
Yeah, no, I mean they just got bought out, so they're going to be doing a lot of downsizing. I think the Paramount Plus itself might be okay. I think this is like more on like an executive level that has to do with like I think more on the movie production side.
Yeah, some of the
the
movies are getting
sports
cut.
content stuff's not too bad because Paramount Plus also they have the CBS partnership going on as well. So I think we'll be okay from that perspective. But the problem is, I don't know if you guys were watching the Milan game today. Like, there was like a brief moment where the whole system.
Yeah, I saw.
So it wasn't really
Yeah,
Paramount.
I
Plus's
was.
fault.
Yeah,
It was
I saw that in that cafe.
streaming.
Yeah, and that's the Serie A stuff. And actually,
that
the
day
Inter
was
game,
at the same time that I was. Yeah.
Inter and Genoa was delayed
Yeah,
because
it's
they
just
had
terrible.
they had technical issues with the broadcast, so they delayed it by like 3 minutes or something.
Yeah.
They forgot to connect the
You know
wire or
what's
something. I don't know.
You know what's sad I find about like Serie A is the league has a lot of potential, and it's sad because
But I like
we're
the new graphics, by the way. The graphics are decent.
yeah, but I feel like this league is not going to go anywhere forward because we're too busy just destroying each other.
Yeah.
Every club is like
Absolutely.
too busy antagonizing each other to the point where the league is imploding. It's one thing to have a rivalry. It's one thing to like talk shit. It's one thing. It's another thing to try to destroy another club financially.
Absolutely.
Like, you're looking in the EPL, Chelsea and Man City are creating infringements after infringements, but they're not trying to destroy the club. Whereas if that would have been to Juve, Kine would have sent them to the 4th division. And they wouldn't care because they're not thinking Juve as a product. They think Juve as an enemy. Whereas the other ones are looking at Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea as products. And they need them to make revenue generating for the league. And that, to me, that's the reason where like Italy will never go ahead, because we're too busy antagonizing one another.
Yeah, I think Bundesliga from the start of this season was for the first time in I don't know how many years that we are the second best earning league from TV rights, I believe. And the way it's happening in Germany, everybody that's not a Bayern Munich fan hates Bayern Munich, but we know that they are the horse that is carrying this league, like in terms of TV rights, in terms of international fandom, in terms of international success. Like we know that the TV money that we are earning is mostly part to them, and like thankfully now Leverkusen's becoming a story. Dortmund is like has a pretty good squad again, and thankfully like the top of the Bundesliga is good again, so you can market stuff actually. But we know that Bayern is the horse, like I said, that is carrying this league, and nobody's trying to fuck them over in negotiations. Like we treat them as a normal team. Like the teams are selling to Bayern like at actual like value or above value sometimes, because we know of course they have it laying around, but nobody's trying to rip them off because we know we are dependent, or the money of the other clubs is dependent on the success of Bayern as well. It's a shitty situation that you have, of course, like to push one of your teams inside of your league, but in the end that is profiting the whole fucking league, and that's why I don't understand like how the whole league is conspiring against one single team, like in Italy. That is so damn crazy to me.
It's ego. I feel like a lot of the Southern European teams have
it's
this thing where like
it's ego, but you're
ego.
hurting your financial situation, you're hurting your team, you're hurting your fans, because you have to make the tickets even more expensive for the fans because you're not earning money elsewhere.
I agree. And you know the thing
like
is,
it
I
hurts
agree
the whole
with you.
product.
I agree with it, and that's the thing. It's when you have that kind of ego, envious, and jealousy, you're not thinking about these things. You don't think about the repercussions. I remember even the Albanian League. I remember even like watching the Albanian League. I remember my hometown made it to the Europa League twice. I think they did some shady business, and then the capital city decided to have UEFA put them under 10-year ban. But like, you know, we were at that point. The point is that one club does well, they start antagonizing, and then they destroy them. Because clearly, let's be honest, anywhere in the league, there's never going to be it's never going to be clean. There's never going to be fair play.
Oh, I remember that. I remember that Skanderbeg, Skanderbeg did that. They were doing bad accounting.
Yeah, that was my hometown. That was where I grew up. Yes, Skanderbeg.
I remember that. I was so pissed when I found out they did that.
You want to know the funniest part is that my mom knew the owner too. That was the best part, the funniest part.
That's an Albanian trademark line. I know the owner.
Oh yeah. It's
no. As an example, for example, like from the Premier League, the teams or the fans of the teams are very tribalistic towards each other. Like they hate each other like crazy. But the actual teams, and this is what they are doing great, don't get influenced by the fandom and what the fandom wants. The teams are still like on the negotiation table when they negotiate TV rights, when they do transfer deals with whatever, with sponsorship deals that are benefiting the whole league. The top 6 teams that were the ones, by the way, to agree to the Super League before they jumped off that bandwagon. But Tottenham, Liverpool, Chelsea, Manchester United, Manchester City, and I don't know where. Arsenal. Those 6 all agreed on the Super League, and those teams are doing business with each other, which is benefiting the league. And even the Premier League figured that out. And but the British are also not the most intelligent, man, and they figured it out. And then you have those
the Americans figured it out, like they always do. They go to the Americans to figure it out for them.
By the way, you're right. It's American ownership. It's American ownerships with all of them.
This has been okay. I want to touch on one more thing on Yildiz, because this has been going on my mind now. Like, it's been bothering me a lot. He says that Del Piero is his idol, and it's not making sense to me. because, Del Piero retired in 2012. He was probably 8 or 9 years old. When was he your idol? Because at his peak, he was at the 90s and early 2000s. And
Jeff,
I don't
easy.
think
You want to know what the easy answer is? His handlers gave that to him.
exactly. I'm like, what?
It's his handlers.
It's
Come on.
it's all fabricated.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it
Okay.
is.
It's all.
That's what I'm
It's
thinking, like,
All fabricated, and the
That's-
schmucks
it's
on
like
Twitter eat it up.
literally you guys doing the China thing where like they're telling all the Chinese clubs would tell the players, "Oh, it was my dream to go play for China." I'm like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
Hey,
this is why
that's,
I went on a rant, because it is so fabricated.
It's
It is so
insane.
bullshit, and I'm seeing 40-year-old dudes jerk off to it. It's fucked.
Oh my
Hey.
God, Del Piero! I do the signature thing, and I'm
Yeah.
like, bro, no, that doesn't make sense to me.
Hey, this is for Dash and Sir, and I think they will understand this reference. It's like John Cena being R-Truth's idol, even though R-Truth is older than him.
I remember little Jimmy.
Yeah,
When I was
and by the
5
way,
years old.
Endrick, by the way, Endrick from Real Madrid, 100% an industry plan. Like there says, how Sir Bobby Charlton is his idol as a 17-year-old brother. He didn't even watch the Premier League probably at that time, man.
Dude, it's like me saying Roberto
I'll say
Baggio is
this.
my idol.
If to
Dude, I'm German and I'm not saying Franz Beckenbauer was my favorite player. Shut the hell up, man.
Word alive.
It's like, Diego Maradona is my favorite player. No, he's
Oh, yeah.
not.
Hell no.
The one thing that always strikes me as being a little weird about Serie A as opposed to like La Liga, right? Real Madrid and Barcelona hate each other, right? That's a serious rivalry, and Real Madrid right now is in a very dominant position from a sporting perspective, from a financial perspective, and then you have Barcelona, who hasn't won anything in a while, and their finances are terrible, and yet Real Madrid, if they, you would think like, hey, they would use this to do what Inter or, other teams or other, FIGC officials would have done to Juve, but they don't. Barcelona is still able to buy players that they can't register, right?
Yeah.
They're still able to like sell off like portions of their media channel, whatever, to bring in. They keep finding the funds that they need to like sign these players. They just signed Dani Olmo, right? And that's because La Liga protects their big squads, whether they're being run properly or not. But
Proof that a
all
shit show of a
aside,
country can still run things.
You want to know the thing about Barca? Barca's financial advisors are run by 5-year-olds with an impulse Amazon spending account. That's what it is. Yeah.
What is crazy to me, the La Liga CEO Javier Tebas, last season when they tried to sign, I don't remember who it was. They wanted to put again 50 or 60 on the table, and he said no, they don't have the funds. Like they can try and sign him if they want to, but they have to register. They have to take that and that player out of their squad and basically send him to Barcelona B, like because he can't register to play for the first team, and the fans went at Javier Tebas, who tried, by the way, to save the club's finances, because the rules that are there, are there in order to save the club and not to go even into further debt. And there they are doing this. Like Dani Olmo is a great player, but I don't know where did they scratch those 55 from, and where will it cost them again, like next season or in 2 years' time maybe.
Just kick the can down the road, and then they'll figure it out.
They're gonna have a magic hat, and they're gonna like pick something random, and it's gonna be magic. That's it. It's a magic trick.
All right, guys, we got to wrap this one up. But before we do, and I don't mean to cut people off. I know that the conversation can go all night here.
Jeez, Dave, what the fuck?
But before we leave, because this is your last chance really to get a head start on the Fantasy League, Kickus.it, link and the code is down in the description. You
I
can also
completely
hit it
forgot about fantasy today.
Yeah, get in it. I'm somehow immediately last.
I had Gudmundsson and a couple of players like that in my team. I didn't even look into it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm last, so whatever. You're mid-table still. So at least it's not KB. I don't think that's KB in there. I don't know which one's which.
No,
but get
it's
in
his
there.
burner account.
Yeah, it could be because KB's winning everything. F1 he won last year. Anyway, it's your chance to win a jersey. Just I'm not going to pre-buy him this time because I mean I just bought jerseys last year and I gave one away. This time I'm going to wait until somebody wins and then order it straight from the store so you get exactly what you want, size, color, all that nonsense, if you know what I'm saying. All right. On that note, guys, we've been killing it. Dave, not you. You came in late. You've been slacking, but for the rest of you guys,
not my day, man. Not my day.
All right. Do you guys have any last quick points before we sign this one off? Anything to get off your chest? Any steamers?
Let's win this game. That's it.
All right.
I don't want to hear any comments about the derby.
Let's get those damn 3 points and go atop of the Milan teams.
All right.
Stop the count.
But yeah, my final thought is it's just one game. I don't give a shit. I still think the derby sucks.
There you go.
I saw the result and said, "Fuck yeah, my prediction is good."
Okay,
absolutely not overreacting after one game.
So, and KB, like, you want us to play Call of Duty? Like, I've just been streaming for 2 hours. I haven't eaten. You want me to play like, chill, bro. We did play this afternoon. So if you, I mean, we can play whatever game. But that another reason to get in the Discord: Call of Duty, FIFA, whatever you want. I guess FC24 these days. Okay, we have to kill it, guys. Thank you so much. Typical Saturday night crew. Monday. It's so weird that it's Monday. It's gonna be me and Misak doing the watch along. So Habibi and Maple Dave. It's
by the way, I may be able to make it in time. So maybe you'll get the
now.
We will see.
You show up late, but now I see how it is. You just kind of come and go as you please.
What if we turned it into a foursome?
No, it's because I stayed longer today that I don't have to do on Monday evening. So.
You got it closed. All right, Dash. I think it's time that you kill this, baby. Let's do it.
All right, as we're busy measuring our schlongs this episode, make sure you like, subscribe if you haven't. Obviously, join the Discord. If you want to donate, to keep the bills running here, you can always join the membership. 99 cents per person here. And outside of that, we shall see you Monday.
Sorry, the intro music was cutting you out. I don't know.
Budget
StreamYard. All right, let's rock out.